Have you ever noticed that when you get a certain amount of money, you just want more money? Have you ever noticed that when you get that new item of clothing that you really wanted, you just want more clothes? Have you ever noticed that this is kind of a loop that goes on in life again and again and again? My name's Tor, and I'm here today to discuss the idea of how you can actually be content given the fact that your human desires are infinite. You hear this in loads of different situations where people get fed up with their job or say they're not earning enough money, when people get fed up with a partner or say that the spark has gone and things like that, is because they once felt an emotion which they associated with that experience, but they no longer feel that emotion anymore. This is just the nature of being a human being. Knowing that your desires are infinite, knowing that your desires are something which go on, they have infinite capacity. If your desires had a finite capacity, and once you had achieved a certain amount of income or you'd eaten a certain amount of meals or whatever it was, you just stopped and you never wanted to do those things again, you never wanted to experience those things again, your human experience would be limited. Because there would be no desire for you to go out and try and do more, your human experience would be finite in itself. So you would only be able to experience so much before you finished. Kind of like a game. Your life would be like a game, something that you had a certain number of desires and then you were finished with it. So actually having infinite desires is completely normal and natural. But it lends to the question of how can you actually be content with yourself? How can you ever experience life in a way that makes you happy and fulfilled, knowing that whenever you do achieve a goal or you achieve something, you're just gonna want the next thing. You have to be content with knowing that your desires are always going to be something that you're working towards. So knowing that your desire is something that is infinite, knowing that your desire is something which has no capacity, knowing that your desire is something which will never end. Once you are content with that concept and happy with that concept, then you transcended the need to pursue happiness in life or to pursue contentness in life. At that point, you've actually transcended all forms of suffering, because you've realized that your desire is always going to be for something greater, and you've accepted that and acknowledged that no matter what your situation is. You ask the richest man in the world how much money they have, whether they want to have more money or whatever the situation is, they're always going to tell you they want more. No matter how much money you have, they're never going to say they want less. They're only ever going to say they want more. That is them acting as a human being. That is them being a rational human being who actually desires and continues to desire more over time. The correct way to manage this, or the best way to manage this, because there is no right and wrong, but the easiest way to manage this would be to say, I understand and appreciate the fact that I want more, but whether I get more or not, I'm equally as content with my human experience. I'm equally as content with my life experience. Whether I achieve that next goal or whether I don't, I'm going to put all the effort I can into trying to achieve it. But if it doesn't happen, that's just good for me. And that's the thing. That's what, as a human being, that's what we've been programmed to do, is to always try and desire and strive for more. But if we do that aimlessly and not knowing why we're doing it, or if we do that aimlessly and we don't accept the fact that we might not achieve more, we'll never be happy. We'll always be striving for the next thing and never be content with ourselves. The idea here, and the message I'm trying to get across in this video, is you want to be content with yourself, regardless of what's happening outside of external of you. You just want to be content with the fact that you're existing, you're experiencing life as is, you're experiencing the day as it goes by, you're experiencing the moment as it is right now. And if you achieve that next thing that maybe you set for yourself, then that's good. But if you didn't, that's just as good. You're content either way. And that allows you to remain detached from outcomes. And when you remain detached from outcomes, you can stay in a state of flow. And when you're in a state of flow, what that means is you're working on all the right things in order to get you to that goal, but you're not attached to whether they work or not. Because ironically, when you get attached to whether the things that you are working on, when you get attached to whether those things are working, yes or no, then you try and start cutting corners, or you try taking different approaches, rather than just sitting down and working on what you know is the correct thing to do. So in embracing the fact that your desires are infinite, you're able to transcend not being content with your own self, because you're able to put yourself in a situation where you say, I know my human desires are going to keep going on and keep going on and keep going on, and that's okay. And I accept that, and I'm content with that. And this is why in society, a lot of the time, people may actually get shamed for trying to do more. So oftentimes, let's say someone earns a really good level of income, people around them, like friends and family, who don't want to see them go any further than that, they may actually turn around and say, you know what, you should stop making money because you'll never be happy. And they're half right. All truths are half truths. They are half right. The half right is the fact that if you just keep pursuing money for money's sake, you'll never be happy. However, there's nothing wrong with you pursuing money. The idea is to focus on yourself and be content within yourself, whether you've got $1 billion in your bank account or whether you've got $10 in your bank account. Those two people should be equally as content with themselves, but still desiring to increase their wealth, because that's just what's natural to them as human beings. That's going with their nature rather than going against it. So the next time you get in a situation and you think, I want more, but is that greedy, or is that something that you shouldn't be doing? Just remember, the important thing is to be happy within yourself. And then you can never be greedy, because what you're trying to do next is merely just you acting within your nature, what you naturally want to do. And that's perfectly fine.